Okay, seems to be working. So hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Hisame Artwork. Let's see here if this is working. And I'm live. Microphone is working. Hope it will continue to work. So hi everyone, sorry for the late start. I didn't have news from Celsius. No, I should read them, but not now. So I didn't have internet until 5 minutes ago. So I was a bit of a panic because I thought I might not be able to stream today. Left a message there. Hope everybody can hear and see me. So I have a microphone announcement. All should be well. I am coloring page 66 from my comic, Niels Feynman's Time Traveling Adventures. I am so glad we got to page 66. Pretty much anything after 60 I was proud of myself. They usually say that you should have 3 issues, 20 pages each. That will get you to 60, and that's where I got the number to be proud of. Marie's not in that panel, it's just Erwin, so let me color him. Hope I didn't put the clock on the wrong page at any time. Is it supposed to be on the right hand? Oh, there it's on the left. The teleporting watch. I think June flipped the page, maybe that's why. I'm gonna need to correct that. So that was page 65. Watch on wrong hand. While we're there, I'm gonna take the color. So this is the watch computer that is connected to the time machine, so it's pretty important. It's not just for decorative purposes. Why would you want to draw a clock hand watch over and over again? It gets a bit boring and repetitive. If any of you have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animation, you will know that the initial design, if you've watched the making of, the initial design, the character had a more complicated clothing, and it was too difficult to animate, so they changed it. And of course, before I did my comic, I did some tests as well. Let me check Erwin's color page because I don't remember the exact shade of blue. So this is his character sheet, sorry. Not coloring page. So okay, it's a lighter blue. I thought I remembered wrong. And no spots for his fingers because it's just needlessly complicated. And I think I'll remind June about this. No squish beans for Erwin. It would actually make more sense to have them, but it just looks really odd because we're generally used to seeing them without them. So this is a artistic liberty to make it look better. Those two don't really match up. I will edit them later. My eye really hurts. I think I'll have to maybe make this a short stream. Not sure yet. So here I'm coloring the pillow. So this is a science fiction story. For those of you that are new to my channel, I've gotten a couple of new subscribers, so in case you guys are watching this, maybe I should turn my mic louder. I'm not sure if that affects it. I was seeing here the input was the same, but I will try and talk louder. I know that is an issue, but when I talk loud for too long, my throat starts to hurt. I'm not a very talkative person, so I lack the training and the physical strength to talk loudly for 2 hours straight. But I will try. Also, it's a bit taxing for me, the English language. It's very guttural. Through berserker, rawr, bar. And so, because my native language is a Latin language, a Romance language is called in English, it's easier for me to speak that way. The mouth is more open, I think, in Romanian. So, like I was saying, this is a science fiction story. We have a talking cat because it has some human genes. Uh, it was sort of a rise of the planet of the cat scenario. Instead of monkeys, we have cats that are slowly taking over the world. The internet was not enough for them. And let me pull out a older page. Let's see here, when he was in that shirt, so I can get the colors. And I also have a Cyborg Corgi, which I like to call a Cyborgie, just because it's cuter and more fun to call it that. I do like the fact that you have this like word mashing in English. You can't really do this in Romanian and sound like a normal, sane person. Oh, the line is moved. Guess June must have snagged it. And the skin, I guess. There we go. Yeah, so I was saying a cyborg corgi, a cyborgie. And she's kind of the Nana from Peter Pan, that type of motherly dog. I was kind of thinking of that when I was developing her character. Because initially it was just Niels traveling through time, and I thought, how about I have him pessimistic sidekick that complains a lot all the time about everything, just so he has someone to bounce off his energy and optimism and humor off of. And that's how Erwin was created. And then I thought, okay, so I'm a girl and I'm writing a story about two boys. Let's have a girl there somewhere. And I was thinking, okay, what purpose can she have? And I always liked that idea of a motherly dog from Peter Pan. I don't remember why the idea stuck with me so much, but I just love that. I'm a big fan of Lady and the Tramp as well, so I guess maybe some of that got in there while I was making out the characters. Also, I love corgis. They're so fluffy and cute with their short little feet. Let's see if I can get some eye color. No eye color here. Just close it then. I have colors for Erwin. There we go, some color for Niels, his eyes. I'm gonna check and see if the chat works. Okay, I have one person watching, and okay, so nobody did comment because I didn't see anything here, so I was wondering, is this thing working? I usually don't have anybody come on Twitch or Picarto, but just in case they do, fortunately Restream has a chat now for all the chats, and they mash together in one, so it's a lot easier for me to um, and to read them. Oh, and Erwin's ear, I have to make it white so I don't forget. Before I forget, I should go do that. So you see it has a little gap there, so then it's a bit harder to color, but it looks better when it's not completely connected. So you know, if it's just half an ear, I don't mind coloring that by hand, but generally if you wanna do this faster, it's best to have all your shapes closed, or have some transparent, some layer that you'll turn off later, and you have all your gaps closed there, but that just seems like harder work, to be honest. So you're not achieving your goal of doing it faster. I am using Clip Studio Paint, which is a manga dedicated software, so that means a software dedicated to making Japanese comic books. So in Japan they're called manga, not comics, and their cartoons are called animes. And again, I'm gonna turn Erwin off so that I can color the pillow. And now I'm back to, I'm going to panel 3, so it's this one over here. Now that I think of it about it, I think his head is too big for his body, or he's especially skinny here. Bad cat. Because of the time zone difference between me and June, often I try and reply instantly whenever she asks me something, and sometimes I don't give it enough thought, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, and then I kind of think, maybe this isn't as good as I initially thought, because some things don't match. So I think I will shrink his head later on, and then maybe make the whole thing bigger. So he's, because the head is the right size, the body's too small. But then he won't fit in the panel. Yeah, I need to think it over a bit more. So Niels is a half Chinese, half Dutch boy, and his parents are divorced. His mom's back in China because she's a businesswoman and has a big empire to run, and his dad, he went to the UK of all places. So the action takes place in 300 years from now in the future. And the hypothesis is the UK is not doing as great financially. As you can guess, I am biased on that one. So his dad got a job there easy. Just like here, I'm in Michigan, so a lot of doctors that are here, they're from India or other places that are not doing great. So that's why they choose to come here and freeze their butts off in Michigan, USA. And UK has historically had very crappy weather. So if you get a job there, it's not so that you can enjoy life outside in the great outdoors. You're probably gonna get rained on a lot. But you know, if that's your thing, well, then I'm sure you will always enjoy the weather in the UK. But that's not the case for the protagonist's dad. So he has a job as a physicist in Cambridge, and of course he taught his son the love of science, and he built a little time machine for himself because now time travel is common and permitted under certain circumstances, of course. Just like today, you can't just go on a plane and go to, I don't know, China or Russia or other places unless you know you have permission. For the US, of course, you have to have a visa, you have to pay a lot of money for it. So that will be the same for time travel, like mostly since it's in still in its infancy more or less, and the legislation is still pretty complicated. I figured, you know, you can buy parts off the internet and build your own time machine, just like you can buy parts for a boat on the internet and you can go sailing around the world. Of course, that's neither a good idea or legal. You can buy parts to build your own plane, and again, that is not legal to go wherever you feel like it. So the same is gonna be for time machines. Of course, Niels doesn't listen to this, and he goes to visit his hero, Isaac Newton, which is one of the greatest scientific figures of since forever, really. Like, you have a whole field of physics called Newtonian physics that abides by the laws that he, I guess you can say, discovered, because it's not like he invented those laws. He made observations and calculations and experiments and so on and so forth, and the other people that he collaborated with, other prominent not sure exactly how you say proeminent in English, but something like that. Famous. Yep, there we go. I remember the word. People like Leipzig. No, Leipzig is a city. Sorry, Leibniz. Gottfried Leibniz. Gottfried Leibniz. Leibniz. Leipzig is a city in Germany, and it's Leipzig. 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 Okay. If I have any German people in the audience, I apologize for butchering your language, but you're not making it easy using Latin letters, but then not actually following the pronunciation the same. Can anyone recognize this meme here? If you think you can recognize a certain meme circulating the internet, you get a cookie from me. Also, June, be happy that she made it close enough that you can recognize. Okay, have you thought long and hard? It's this meme. So this this one. I was looking now at the eyebrows. I think Erwin is too cross. Maybe I'll tweak his eyebrows. And this is what's great about this program. To change the line art is so easy. I love it. And his mouth inside. So Isaac Newton exchanged mails, not emails, mails, with Gottfried regarding calculus. So that's why they are both attributed to it. It was a bit of an argument there, like who discovered it, who invented it. I think they went to court over it. It's all on Wikipedia if you're curious to read about 17th century drama in the scientific world. But I am curious, like, who's right. Because if Gottfried did help and is correctly credited in developing it as well, I think the final verdict was that they developed it independently of one another. That's a lot more suspicious than, you know, if he had helped and then Newton didn't want to give him credit. For me, as someone trying to figure out Newton's personality so that I know how to portray him, this stuff is really useful for me to read. So I can kind of get an idea of how to best portray him. Generally, I went with grumpy and unhappy, because that kind of seems to be his default. Um, in his defense, he didn't have the best of childhoods. Like his dad died while his mom was still pregnant with him, and then she remarried after 2 years or something like that. Like he was really small when he got dumped with his grandmother, and she went off to remarry. So I guess you could say he was kind of an orphan. So he doesn't have the best of manners, and it's usually a running gag when a sibling is very rude or weird or something like that to call them adopted. I'm looking at you, Thor. I'm not sure how true that is. I don't have much experience with that kind of situation. I have had friends with step siblings, with step parents, but like never completely adopted. I've had orphans. Actually had, I think only one of them. I'm pretty sure that he was from the orphanage and he was taking care of little nuns. And boy, that kid was wild. He got kicked out of free schools and had a bit of a scandal, fights, and stuff like that at my school in the short period of time that we were colleagues. So yeah. And because of a lot of people have left my country to go work abroad, many kids have been left with their grandparents. And so they do get up to all kinds of shenanigans, drugs, having bad grades. Uh, Simply the grandparents can't cope with them, especially if it's like only the grandma. So yeah, I can see why Newton had such poor people skills reading back on his behavior, his interactions. He did become very famous and prestigious like towards the end of his life. I guess he kind of got the hang of how politics work. He became the president of the Royal Society. So this is this scientific organization that conducted research, what you can call research at the time. They just collected stuff and looked at it and poked it with a stick. Wasn't that advanced in Britain, from as far as I can tell. The Germans were a bit ahead, were ahead enough especially in chemistry. Hi, Nocturnal Donut. How are you? How are you doing? Let me type here. Hi, can you hear me? There we go. So I was talking about my comic, and the action takes place in Cambridge, 17th century Cambridge. So it was like the scientific revolution. Like people were doing chemistry, alchemy was becoming chemistry, and there were a bunch of fun stuff, fun things going on then. Let me get out my tablet so it'll be easier for me to do. Not responding. His internet might have failed him. I know my internet has been very bad. I almost didn't stream today because I didn't have internet until 5 minutes after I should have been streaming. So we're like panicking. Ah, share, share, share. I'm doing a stream. And the frame of the watch, so it's metal. And I'm gonna get the blue from the other side. And I need now brown for the nose. And I can't remember what color I made her squish beans. I think I made it pink. So go in here and color that as well. I think in Romanian I call these, we call them pernițe. Pernițe la piciorușă, la lăbuțe. Pernițe means little pillow, and lăbuțe means little paws. So let me see, turn Marie off so I can color the pillow. Oh, and I have a line that is not connected there, so I'm gonna pull that there so that I can easily fill in the color. And there we go. Now the frame of the couch was this brown color. So I'm gonna go and fill in everything there, lest I forget, because it's gonna be harder to color when I transfer it to Photoshop. And I usually transfer it there to add the textures, because I have a special brush there that I am very attached to and like, so I want to keep on using it until I am able to find a way to get the same result in Clip Studio Paint. There we go, cleaned up the line. Oh, sorry about that. I hit my headphones. I was trying to scratch my head. Okay, so seems so far so good. Here the frame. And I gotta remember how I colored it in the first page, because I don't remember. Okay, so again, the wooden color. And I'm gonna turn Niels off so I can color it. And while I'm here, I'll color Erwin. Yeah, no, I don't want that. And I think it was in panel 1 as well, so I'm gonna color it there too. Okay. And some masks, so anything that leaks out of the panel, it will catch it and not let it show up. It's just easier for me to draw that way. Usually I don't go out of panel, but to be on the safe side, mask on every panel. Such a useful feature. I do encourage you to use masks whenever you need them. Like, don't be afraid to use a mask. Just be careful and try and test it out and learn how it works before. Otherwise, you might have some issues and you don't know what's wrong. Also, Photoshop has some really interesting features for its mask, although I am using a very old Photoshop, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. It might have changed since then, because it's now, I have a Creative Suite and now it's Creative Cloud. And they've moved a bunch of buttons around and I don't remember where they are. Last time I used Creative Cloud was at work, and it just came out like it was a brand new thingamabob at the time. And I didn't like it because of the price. Manga Studio, I only paid $30 for it. No, 25. I paid only 25 for it, and it does so many things. I don't see why. Photoshop is at the price that it is. So you have what? I think the cheapest was... Oh, you can hear me? Good. Oh, that must be some incredibly long lag. Or maybe just saw it now. Anyway, um, what I was saying, oh yeah, the Photoshop was, last time I looked, $9 per month. You have 12 months in a year, let's say, $10 per month, and you have $120. Um, if you're a fancy pants company, I guess you can afford it, but for me, I rather pay $50 for a program once in a life and I use it until it's no longer usable. And to be able to use it offline as much as I please. I'm not a fan of DRM. So hi Nocturnal Donuts, where are you from? Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong character color. I want brown on this one. Oh hi June, how have you been? How's it going? Happy you dropped by. I wanted to explain to you like the next page. I'm not up to anything right now. Are you also a graphic artist, Donut? Yep, you have time, June. Awesome. Okay, then page 67. Let me increase it here. So here I'm gonna write a few moments later, an eternity later, and then Erwin is sleeping here. And his paw is in the foreground, like this is the closest to the camera, to the reader. And then you have the body a bit more to the back, so you have like this perspective. This hand is drooping off the couch. And here in panel 4, Niels is aligning the pages, you know, when you hit the pages on the table, so it's they're all aligned and they're neat and orderly. Then Erwin kind of wakes up confused as to what's going on. And then Niels is running up the stairs and saying, "Oh, wish me luck." So he talks with Newton. And meanwhile, Erwin falls back asleep on the couch. Let's see if it's yeah, okay. Here in this panel it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this panel 7. Newton is just finishing his pie, the pie that Niels brought from the future. So it's a super delicious future pie that is made by his Nana's recipe. And he knocks on the door and is like, "Hey, Mr. Newton, I'm done." While Newton is enjoying his pie and saying, good pie. And then Niels puts the stack of papers on his lap that he finished calculating the stuff, and Newton is just shocked that he can read and write, let alone do this. and he kind of like scratches his head and starts to really become suspicious. I mean, he was suspicious from the beginning that something's strange with this kid, that he's not really his assistant's nephew, that there's something else with him. Meanwhile, Neil says, "Oh, I've done the calculations. Let me take the dirty dishes because, he ate the fish and the pie and the salad and everything." So he's taking away the dirty dishes. And he's telling Newton, if you have any more calculations for me that I can do, I'd be very happy to take those off your hand. And this is where Newton kind of realizes Niels might be a spy. I mean, he doesn't realize this because he thinks wrong. Niels is not a spy. He what do you call it? He suspects, or he starts to think to himself that Niels is a spy and he's trying to steal his research. And if you remember, Hook and Newton kind of hate each other, and Hook is kind of riding on Newton and pestering him to do the calculations with the planets that he said he already did, but Newton's was like, "Yeah, I did the pages. Oh, but I don't remember where they are and I can't find them." So it was kind of this really weird drama between them. And in the end, he did them because Haley gave him a lot of money to do the book for a year. It took him. So he was very protective of that research, and so now he's suspecting that Niels might be a Hook spy. So he's pondering here, and then he starts to write, and Niels is super curious as to what is Newton writing. And what Newton is writing are some calculations, but with stuff that Hooke developed, because Hooke was also a mathematician. So now, when somebody's looking at you and you're upset that like he's way too close for comfort, like someone's invading your personal space, like that's the face that Newton would make. Like he's upset, like give me some space, like go away. And Niels has like no sense of impropriety. He's like right in Newton's shoulder there, trying to look over his shoulder and see what he's writing because he's super excited to get more calculations from the famous Newton. So, and he's kind of, shrugging his shoulders and trying to be all cute and sweet and trying to turn on the charm, because he hopes that will work on Newton the same way it works on his aunts and grandmothers. Like when you have a cheeky little child and he's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything bad. I'm so innocent." Yeah, well, like when someone's trying to copy you at school and you don't want to. I mean, Newton's gonna give him the pages anyway, but he's like, going. Because Niels has been super annoying the whole time, and he's never been a patient person to begin with. And we have to self-censor, June. No buttholes. I would be surprised if YouTube actually gave me a strike for this. But you never know. Yep, I erased it. Like if we ever do After 8 edition of the comic, you can put all the buttholes you want there. I mean, I know the characters are nude, but we don't need to point it out. I think it was in Sweden or somewhere. Donald Duck got banned. Yeah, everything is hidden. I heard someone, an adult, say once to a kid that, oh, animals are not naked; they have fur, and that's animal clothing. And I was thinking, I can grow my own clothes. Wouldn't that be neat? I mean, since I'm so lazy, it wouldn't be a problem to wear the same thing for my whole life. Uh, but I think maybe at some point I would like to change things up a bit. But I can't wait to have a cat again. I had a cat, but I didn't have time to put costumes on it or the money because it was constant, constantly sick because I picked it off the street, so it was full of parasites and all the money went on that. But someday I want a cat and I want to put costumes on it. Also to love it and to give it a home and all the other stuff, but putting costumes on it is on the top of my list. Even better, I would prefer to have a raccoon, but I'm kind of still waiting on people to breed more domesticated raccoons because as they are now, they'll just rip your whole house apart. And in many states, it's not even legal to own one. And if I had one, I would definitely sterilize it because if I lived back in Europe, you don't want to let those things multiply. They're really cute and fluffy, and they're just like the most emotionally manipulative creatures that you have ever seen. They will work you. You will be their slave. It's just they're super cute and fun, and they're so charming. But then they'll do whatever they want, and they will not care about your feelings. I mean, if you're annoyed that your dog gets on the table or your cat gets on the table, well, a raccoon will get in everywhere. There'll be no place it can't get into. It doesn't exactly have opposable thumbs, but um, it has fingers that can open a lot of things. I was just surprised how resourceful they are. Because they don't seem like they can hold a pen like a monkey can. Like, I think having a pet monkey is even worse than a raccoon. But I would prefer a raccoon. They seem nicer, prettier. I think a monkey looks too much like a human. I mean, I look at a monkey and I think I can recognize people that I've met before. Like, I think I know you from somewhere. Have we met before? Yeah. I'm curious how long the lag is between. Oh, it's not so bad. It wasn't extra text I didn't see. I'm really liking this new chat. I like the fact that I can control the size of the text. So it's easier for me to read because I am nearsighted, so I can't see far very well. So if I sit up straight in my chair, the text becomes blurry because the screen is at arm's length because I have to have room for the tablet and the keyboard on the desk. So I'm generally a bit farther. And with the small text, anything farther than 25 centimeters and I cannot see. I cannot see well. So it was hard for me to read the text. I had to remember to get close to the screen and then I could see. Oh, June, I wanted to. What did I wanted to tell you? Oh yeah, so no squish beans for Erwin's hands, cause it's a bit too much detail and the panels are pretty small and people will not understand what it is. They'll just think it's some maybe dirt on his hands or something like that. Or it might not be clear. So here, for example, I erased the squish beans. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna read this on Webtoons or Tapastic on their phone. So yeah, I have to be careful with that. Okay, what else do I have here? I saw are you gonna do the mermaid event, June? I would like to do it too, but I don't think I'll be able to do a mermaid every day. I think I'll just make maybe one mermaid the whole month and that'll be it. I don't know, maybe this Saturday, because I finished the coloring for this one. Maybe, I don't know. I'll try and do a bunch of mermaids. I don't even know in what program I can do the fastest. Probably Illustrator. But I would like to do something more painted, so maybe I'll do it in Clip Studio Paint and try out some new buttons I've been wanting to press. Yeah, I can't do it every day. I think I'll do one of each kind and then I'll be happy. Like, I'll try and set myself this goal. Maybe one or two. I really liked Anna's tiger fish or lionfish, whatever it's called, version of the mermaid. I was surprised to find out that they've become a invasive species in some parts of the US. So now you can find lionfish at grill shops, at seafood restaurants. And I thought, isn't that poisonous? Why are people eating it? And actually, if you cut the spikes off, the rest of the fish is just fine. And since it's a novelty, it's selling very good, and um, fishermen are just catching all of them that they can because they sell them for a really nice price. So I thought that was really neat. I'm kind of curious to try it myself now that they've been talking about this. But I don't think I can find any of it in Michigan. And they have a lot of animals that are breeding too much here in the US, so um, they keep having these problems. I don't hear this usually happening in Europe. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any invasive species in Italy? I don't think I've ever heard of this issue. Aside from some ants, yellow ants are not native to Europe, I understand. So, they've been an issue, but other than that, I don't think they have anywhere to go really in Europe. Because the population density is so high and Europeans eat just about anything, especially the French. They'll eat anything that flies, crawls, squirms. They will eat it. If it's edible, they will eat it. So, thank you, French people, for keeping invasive species from Europe. And all are coming from the Americas. The north and south, like nutria, gray squirrels. Oh, yeah. I think I remember I read about them. Because they're really aggressive and they're killing our cute red squirrels. Let's see. Yeah, so they're. Yep, I have these outside. Here. And it seems it's their favorite place. And giant sweetwater shrimp. Giant sweetwater shrimp. Ooh, I want to eat that. It looks tasty. Fried with butter. Although the long legs, those are weird. I don't like those. You can take those off. And bigger. How can it get bigger than that? It's like already huge. Any bigger and I'll be afraid to eat it. Try and kill me. Jump out of the plate. Yeah, blue color is not appetizing. Does it turn pink like normal shrimp? Because I... Ooh. Ah. Garlic butter and shrimp. More like a lobster? I don't know. I think it's something in between. Let me see. Giant river. Oh, so it's a prawn. Is blue and can walk outside the water. Yeah, I wouldn't want that going across my living room if I live next to the sea. So let's see. Prawn, freshwater prawn. Species of freshwater prawn is found in tropical and subtropical Indo-Pacific regions. Oh, so it's from India. Also been introduced to parts of and the Americas and Caribbean. It's widely cultivated in several countries. I want to eat this. I think it looks tasty when it's cooked. The yellow stuff, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's garlic butter. Mm, yeah, I approve. Though I'm not happy if it's killing off the local prawn. If anybody else needs to eat it, it's gonna be an issue. I can imagine. How can it walk outside of water with those big hands? Now I'm curious. Giant. What was it called? Uh, Sweetwater. Giant sweetwater prawn walking on land. I want to see a video of that. I can't imagine him being able to walk. I have no pictures. I'll have to look on YouTube, but uh, this is catfish. Yeah, I don't like it when squirmy things like these come out of the water. It's not blue, it's called Pro Camp. Yeah, we'll look on at it on Facebook. So yeah, I think I'll end the stream here because everything else that I have to do is add the text and do the shading and stuff like that, which is a bit more tedious. So I won't show that to you guys. So thank you for watching. June, I showed you the page. Was there anything else I needed to show you? I don't think so. So yeah, this page is gonna be published this Sunday evening or morning, Sunday in general. So this page 66 from our comic book Niels Feynman's Time Traveling Adventures is gonna be page 66 Sunday. Thank you for watching, everybody, and see you on Saturday when I will be trying to draw some mermaids. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.